What's up, Jesse?
Hi, how you
I'm
doing?
doing good, man. It's really an honor to be here with you. Um, I've been talking to a lot of people in the community. Kind of asking about artists, especially the Latino artists here in Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
And your name came up several times. And then I'm like, oh my God, Jesse, he's been right in front of my face this whole time. I've gotten
Yeah.
tattoos from, your coworkers, the other Jesse and Katie, but I've never had the honor of getting a tattoo with you.
Soon.
Yeah, soon.
Soon, man.
Yeah, but
Soon.
why don't you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what you do, how long you've been
Yeah.
doing it, and yeah, what you see for yourself in the future.
Yeah. So, man, I'm Jesse. I've been tattooing in Little Rock for about 7 years or so. Um, Man, I do just straight up Mexican style black and gray.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to describe it. There's a certain style of black and gray that it's just it's part of the Mexican culture.
Exactly. Yeah.
The fine line, the smooth shading, the dark blacks. It's something that you see a lot throughout the Hispanic community.
Exactly.
Man, I plan on just doing a whole bunch more black and gray, man. I plan on doing this forever.
So you've been doing this for about 7 years. What inspired you to kind of become a tattoo artist, or how did that idea kind of pop in your head? And did you ever think that that was going to be your profession when you were a little kid?
I never thought that.
Yeah.
I never thought that. I started drawing at a real young age.
Yeah.
The first drawing I ever did, or the first drawing that opened my eyes art was my dad drew me Roadrunner.
Okay.
And he drew it really good, man.
Yeah.
It was he drew a whole scene. It was like the Roadrunner on a cliff with a stop sign and clouds. It even had a bubble that said beep beep on it. And ever since I saw him do that, it just kind of blew my mind. And, I'd been an artist throughout my whole life. I was always in drawing, painting, any art class I could take. And, I was always just naturally interested in it. And I think mainly because I thought I was good at it. I wasn't good at a lot of other stuff. I wasn't good at school. So, the whole drawing thing, it felt like home for me.
Exactly.
And yeah, man, I got into it at a super young age. And then when it came time and I graduated high school, it was like, go to college.
Yeah.
Everyone telling me I needed to go to college. My parents had a taqueria at the time, and I had no interest in college. I was like, man, I'll open up another taqueria, little tacos and tequila, and we'll be straight.
Yeah.
And everyone was pushing me to go to college, and I kind of ended up going the medical route.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of told me, oh, there's no money in art.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? Be an art teacher and all that, which that's what I did want to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an art teacher and, help other kids, unlock their talents and stuff. And, man, I listened and I went towards the medical field, and, man, I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. It didn't feel natural. Like, no se sentía like bien. Like, it wasn't the right.
It wasn't your thing.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. I felt it in my stomach. Like, man, this ain't it. So, man, I ended up dropping out, went back to the taqueria, and I'd grown up in downtown Hot Springs.
Yeah.
And there's a tattoo shop, Redbeard's Tattoo.
Okay.
And they were a couple blocks from us, and I'd always deliver food. And, as a kid who was into art, I'd ride my bike out there, to go downtown, and I'd always see the tattoo artists outside, They always had cool or weird cars, or, it always seemed like a party.
Yeah.
I'd always drive by and I'd try to go in, and there was no kids allowed. And man, I was just always interested by it. So whenever I dropped out, I was good friends. I'd been around them for 10 plus years. So, they're great clients of us. And I started asking, like, how do I get into this? Like, if I want to do art full time.
Yeah.
And, man, that sparked the interest.
Awesome.
Uh,
Yeah, I think kind of as an immigrant, having immigrant parents, the idea of college to your parents, it's like the ideal thing because it provides security and definitely
yeah.
pursuing the art scene. That in the back of their mind, they're like, "Oh my God, my son
Yeah.
is going
Well,
to
they're
the art."
scared
Yeah,
for you. They're like, he could.
yeah,
What if he
yeah,
sucks?
yeah. What if he doesn't make
What
it?
if he doesn't make
Exactly.
it? And they're kind of worried and
Yeah.
try to protect us.
How do you think your parents feel now that you definitely you opened up a shop with two other amazing artists and you have constant clientele coming
Man,
in?
they're proud.
Yeah.
They're proud. That should have made me emotional, man. No, they're proud.
Yeah.
No, they're proud as hell. And it's crazy because when I was tossing up the idea, I understood why they were like, what, tattooing? Like, I was already in a program at UAMS for like a pretty good career. And, I dropped that cold turkey to do this. And um, I understood their fear and all that, and especially where they came from. I mean, my dad came here when he was 10. My mom came here when she was like 14. And, no hablando inglés, like going to school and all that. Both of them ended up, having to find their own way.
Yeah.
School wasn't formed, out here, and especially not in those days.
Yeah, the Hispanic community.
Yeah,
back
the
in day.
Hispanic community back then was,
So small.
and so for them, they dropped out and started working.
Yeah.
And both of them, I mean, they always had to own their own businesses or do that. And, with owning your own business, there's so many ups and downs, highs and lows, and all that they wanted me to have something safe.
Exactly.
And they wanted me to have something secure and all that. But they know I got it now. They know, it took a little bit, but I feel when they saw that I was for real about it and I was down to do whatever it took, they knew something.
Yeah.
It completely changed their perspective on it. And now, I mean, neither of my parents have tattoos. They still don't have a tattoo. And for me, I'd put on a temporary tattoo or draw on myself with Sharpie. It'd be like, te lo lavas. You take that off when you get out the house.
Exactly. I know how you feel because I was in the military and like it's super traditional for people in the military.
Yeah, to get tattoos, man.
So when I came back home, my parents didn't say anything, but I could see that look of like deception. I was like, like, oh my God, they hate it. They
the
hate
disgust.
It. Yes. But your parents were obviously there through your hardships. Definitely as an upcoming artist. If you look in retrospect, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
What would you say was like one of the hardest things to overcome in this area of work, if there was any?
Yourself.
Yeah.
In this type of line of work, it's yourself, your fears, your own insecurities, all that, like putting those on the back burner and having, just a little more faith and fear and being like, I got this. Because in this type of field, it's real easy to compare yourself to others, And here in Arkansas, man, the tattooing community is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I got so many homies around here in Little Rock that, we all specialize in our own, style. And with art, I could try to do something like someone else
Yeah.
and try to copy it. And then at the end of the day, man, it's gonna look like I did it. You're gonna be
Yeah.
able to tell, I did it. There's a little bit of me in
Hmm.
it. So um, the hardest part is, especially starting early on, like you see so many great people
Hmm.
that you're like, damn, I want to be at that level.
Yeah.
And the hardest part is taking pride in the level that you're currently
Hmm.
at, and having aspirations
Yeah.
for reaching that next level or
Exactly.
grinding to get to it.
It's kind of like you trusting the process of
Yeah, just
everything.
trust the process and like do your thing.
Yeah.
Like do your thing. Let it be you. Of your tattoos don't look like someone else's.
Hmm.
Let it do you.
Exactly.
Embrace what your tattoos look like and where you're at on your journey.
Exactly. So going back to your parents, I know that they had a big impact on the Latin community because they were the owners of like one of the first stores here. Uh,
Hmm.
so kind of like seeing the Latin community back in the day to where it is now. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel Arkansas is kind of like growing
Yeah, está
as a community?
creciendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a trip, really,
Yeah.
man. It's beautiful. I mean, I've been here since like 95
Okay.
or so, and back then it was on everybody knew everybody
Yeah.
because there wasn't, that many Hispanics. Like my brother said, man, we were talking about this recently. Man, we would go to Walmart or Kroger.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, there's like another Hispanic. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's another Mexican.
Yeah.
We're
It
happy,
surprised
we're
you.
excited. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what's up? De donde son? We're these. We're
Yeah.
from here. And, you
Yeah.
know,
Looking at kids nowadays, I feel a little bit of jealousy because they're growing up around their own
yeah,
people, their own tribe, and it feels really
yeah.
nice. I'm like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I had somebody to listen to Mexican music with, and not. I don't want to say be forced to listen to like American music, but
Yeah.
sometimes people would be like, so it's like, oh, you don't know who this person is. I was like, no, I don't. I'm
No, I
sorry. I
don't.
I grew up
But
listening to Chente.
yeah,
That's my
you
parents.
know who Juan
Yeah,
Gabriel
yeah,
is?
exactly. But it's so amazing to kind of see the culture kind of flourishing here in Arkansas.
Yeah,
Have you always lived here in Arkansas, or
yeah. I have
yeah?
nací en LA.
Okay.
Um, nos movimos para acá when I was like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I've been here my whole life, and from Little Rock, North Little
Hmm.
Rock, Hot Springs, back to North Little Rock
Yeah.
to Bryant. I kind of stayed in the central Arkansas area.
Yeah.
Y, you know, it's home.
Yeah.
It's home, but I'm super thankful that growing up I was able to hit all the pueblos that my parents are from.
Exactly.
My dad's from Guadalajara.
Yeah.
Being able to grow up and go back and forth to Guadalajara and, experience that as a kid, especially here in Arkansas, to where Arkansas is not like California.
Exactly.
Arkansas is not like Texas.
Yeah.
Arkansas is not like New York. We're way behind,
We are.
especially in like the Hispanic community, to where you know, out here, there's only a few of us.
Exactly.
So it's real easy to not see or to not feel that, that, what do they say on Univision, that orgullo hispano?
Yeah.
Like,
Hispano.
yeah, it was real easy to not feel that. So being able to go to back and forth to Mexico and all that was
Yeah.
nice, especially when you encountered unpleasant situations
Exactly.
with,
Yeah, but
know,
I think we're getting to we're making progress a lot. Y acabas de mencionar el orgullo hispano. Back in the day, like someone would like kind of like hide their like actual
yeah,
self.
yeah, how do you
Yeah,
Mexicanness?
but
Like,
now you're like, no, pues voy a poner un corrido, o no sé, algo
yeah,
de
like, nah,
Chente,
let me put you on
and
this.
yeah,
Have you
and
heard
yeah,
this?
exactly. You're more proud of it. It's something that really and culture is, to me, it's very important.
Yeah.
and it's something that I plan to instill in my kids.
Yeah.
But kind of like seeing the younger community, they're kind of drifting away from their culture. And you have kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have two
yeah.
kids.
What is your goal to like make sure that they know they're Mexican?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that there's a big chance. I mean, me, yo hablo bien pocho.
yeah. No,
You know, I
that's
speak
totally fine.
I speak Spanglish. I'm back and forth. Sometimes, there's stuff I
Yeah,
don't know how to say, and
you gotta
all
own up
that.
to it. You know, like
And
yeah,
with them, I, me and my brothers were the first generation born here. Both
yeah.
my parents are from Mexico, all my tios and stuff. So and even with us, we're so
Yeah.
Americanized and all that. So I know it's naturally going to happen with my kids, and my kids are going to be a little more American than me, but they're going to always know what's up.
Yeah.
And, with us, like, just instilling that culture, the music, the food, the way we carry ourselves, el ambiente,
Yeah.
el ambiente que trae el hispano. It's a whole different ambiente. Any job site you go to, and with the hispanos and stuff,
It's just different.
it's just a little different. There's a way, from the película to the novelas,
Oh yeah. Super
anything,
dramatic.
the sábado gigantes, just try to embrace it as much as possible, and really be proud, because in the era I grew up in, I ended up going to a really country school.
Yeah, same.
I went to school in Hot Springs,
Yeah.
where there wasn't that many Mexicans. Even as a teenager, there wasn't that many. I think there's maybe like 15 or less in my high school.
Yeah.
And there was so much that I saw in so many other people, that they were kind of hiding who they were, like didn't feel comfortable, being, Hispanic or anything, or speaking Spanish or all that, or they were ashamed of their accent and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I want my kids to be proud.
Yeah.
Everyone should be proud.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone should be proud of.
Being ashamed of not knowing, because
Yeah.
our parents, they didn't grow up here.
Yeah,
It's
no.
one of those things, but I can gladly say that Arkansas is making progress. Obviously we're not at the level where California or Texas might be, but we're getting there.
No.
And have you ever thought of this is a question I like to ask, because it's something that is kind of like crossed my mind a couple of times, because as a photographer, you're always looking to expand, and I feel like as an artist you are too. Has venturing off to another state, has that ever crossed your mind, or doing anything like that?
It has. It has. I've gotten really good offers, to work at some really good shops, and
What kind of what's kind of holding you back here?
my family,
Your family,
man.
yeah.
And I feel like that's a big part of who I am,
Exactly.
and how I was raised, and a big part of my culture, to where my family is the most important thing in my life. I would love to work out in LA. There's so many shops I'd love to work at out there. But man, my family helped me every step of the way. I'm blessed, man. I'm lucky. I got a huge family. I feel like I got the coolest family in the world. I'm biased, and they're just super good, man, and they're super cool. And man, they helped me so much. And me being raised in family-owned businesses, like, I got to work next to my dad and my mom and my brothers and sisters for so long, that I feel like I really got to know them as who they are. Because sometimes you know your coworkers better than you know your family, because that's who you're with, who you're up to date with, and
you spend most of the time.
Yeah, you spend most of your time with them, and then you just call and check in with the family whenever. And for me, man, my family helped me every step of the way. I can see myself leaving.
Yeah.
You know, Arkansas is home for me. I plan on staying.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
I kind of feel the same way. I'm single, so I don't have like a family like you do. But I do
yeah,
have my parents, my sisters, cousins, and everything.
yeah,
But especially also the community that helped me get to the point where I'm at today.
yeah,
And I feel like as artists, we kind of in a sense we do kind of owe something to them to kind of give back.
yeah.
The best of what we can offer to the community. Is there like anything that you in particular are looking like to give a message to the community? Like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I want to provide for you guys, or anything like that.
Man, on that, and I just want to continue to do really good
Yeah.
tattoos, you know. And I was inspired by tattoo artists,
Hmm.
you know. As soon as Instagram hit, and I got to see a lot of people that I felt, that I felt were like me.
Hmm.
You know, I saw so many Mexican tattoo artists traveling the world,
Yeah.
being able to take their family on trips around the world and, go tattoo in different spots. And, I was inspired.
Hmm.
I was inspired by other people that I felt, had similar talents, interests to me,
Hmm.
and were living their dream life. And, you know, if there's anybody that's in a art or
Hmm.
in a tattooing or wants to pursue this, I just always want to be here to show them the ropes and,
Yeah.
let them know like it is all
Yeah.
possible, you know. Yeah, let
Yeah.
let everyone know that it is possible to live,
Yeah.
your dream
Yeah.
life and really do what you love and take that jump and make it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
You mentioned earlier that you wanted to be an art teacher. Is that still something that you would like to do, or has that kind of like drifted the table?
man, I fell in love with
Yeah,
tattooing.
yeah,
I fell in love with tattooing, man. But I feel like with tattooing, I still have the
hmm,
chance to be a teacher. I mean, I was apprenticed one on one,
hmm,
I was really apprenticed by a whole shop.
yeah,
But, with tattooing, you take someone under your wing and, I learned on a first hand basis, one on one. I had, my mentor who
hmm,
taught me everything they knew.
yeah,
And, I was an apprentice. And I think in the future, I would like to apprentice
yeah.
someone.
Kind of take someone under your wing,
Yeah,
kind of teach
kind of
them
take
ropes.
someone who's hungry and who really wants
Yeah,
it, under my wing. Right now, I don't feel I'm there yet.
yeah,
I don't feel I don't feel I have all the answers
hmm,
yet to do that. But I love to in the
okay,
future,
awesome.
you know.
Yeah. Well, as a tattoo artist, I feel like you may get this question a lot, especially tattooing, random people or whatever. What would you say is like the craziest tattoo you have done, or location wise, if it's something crazy, what
Oh
is it?
man. Uh Man, there's a ton.
Yeah.
There's a ton. There's a ton I won't say on
All
camera.
right.
But man, dang, I really got to think about it.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the ones that caught me really early on, and I was like, "Whoa, this is kind of crazy."
Yeah.
Man, I did a Winnie the Pooh
Okay.
crawling in through the ribs on this guy,
Okay.
and crawling in through the ribs on this side, and then on the other side having,
Hmm.
him crawling out.
That is
I feel
that's kind of
like
weird.
that. I feel like that's,
It's one of the weirdest
what
ones.
that's one of the
Yeah.
weirdest
Yeah.
ones.
Have you ever gotten
Uh,
any on yourself?
yes,
Yeah.
I've tattooed myself once.
Okay.
I did a little pistol on my ankle.
Okay.
Um, Man, I did this because of a Biggie song. I
Love
was
Biggie,
listening
bro.
to too much Biggie that
Yeah.
morning, and he had a line about I got the strap in the tube sock,
Oh
and
man. Nice.
man, I ended up having to do that, and That one. That's the only time I've tattooed myself. I won't never do it again.
No.
No, I was peer pressured, and everybody was like, "Man, I was an apprentice at the time, so you know I was the front at the shop." And they're like, "Man, you have to tattoo yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot tattoo anyone if you don't tattoo yourself."
Is it difficult to tattoo yourself, or
Yeah. I feel like
the pain, does it like
yeah, or maybe I'm just a crybaby, man. I don't know, but I can't hurt myself.
No,
I could let somebody else, you know, I could let somebody else tattoo me, and you know, I'll cry and you know hide my tears this way.
That's what I do.
But you know, I just kind of look away and wipe and who's cutting onions?
Yeah.
No, but you know, doing it to yourself is really hard, man. Just because it's like putting your hand on a hot stove. Like, let that stove get red hot, and you're going to see your hand getting closer and be like...
having to willingly...
having to willingly be like, cool, I'm going to touch this stove. And then I'm going to do it again and again and again and again.
It's easier when someone else...
it's easier when someone else does it and you just have to sit there and not cry.
Exactly. Talk to us a little bit about what you have on your body. Is it from one artist? Is it from a whole bunch of artists?
A whole bunch of artists.
All Arkansas based, or did you go anywhere to get any specific?
No, I've traveled. I've traveled to get some tattoos, but a lot of them are from a lot of my close homies and stuff. You know, a lot of people that I've worked with. You know, I swore when I got into tattooing, I would be completely covered by now. And then when I got into tattooing, I was like, man, I don't have time to get tattooed because I'm always tattooing. But man, I got a whole bunch of work from my homies. My homie Sean Garrison did these. Okay. This is kind of an arm, you know, dedicated to my Hispanic side, you know, my Mexican side, my roots, to where, you know, I'm planning on doing Mexican themed sleeved here, and you know, I got my kid tattooed on me, and you know, the way I want to do family kind of on this side. A couple of the things that are real important to me. I grew up, you know, going to like a Catholic school. So for me, as a kid, now looking back at it, that's where I got inspired from the most. Like, that's what kind of opened my eyes. Like, seeing all the imagery in there. I love tattooing realistic or like religious, realistic imagery, like as far as, you know, like Jesus portraits or La Virgen or, you know, San Judas, like all the saints and all that, the imagery I grew up seeing, the statues I had in the house, you know, the altares my mom would make. And, you know, all that imagery really inspired me a lot. So
I feel I really wish I don't wish. I like what I have. I like the style that I have. It's more traditional. You know, more to what like your coworkers do. But I do have one question. You know, the art scene is becoming more popular. You know, tattooing is becoming more popular. I feel like, I don't want to say it's easier nowadays for someone coming up, but we did have it a little bit more difficult. You know, obviously, you know, there's a time before Instagram.
Time before YouTube had every video you wanted.
And where you could just learn things like super quick. But what would you say, what would be a piece of advice to like a young artist trying to pursue this type of career in their life?
As far as tattooing goes, one, you have to be an artist. You have to love to draw, and you got to love to hit deadlines. You know, you got to be able to work in a crunch time. You got to be able to have something complete and ready to make permanent overnight. So, you know, this line of work is super fast paced. You know, the first step is be prepared for that. Be prepared to live your life on the go, love art, be able to draw and have that natural interest to make a unique piece of art every day. And two, the best thing you could do is get tattooed. Get tattooed. Talk to your tattoo artist. Go pop into your tattoo shops. If you can't afford a tattoo, that's totally fine. Go in there. Look around. Hang out. Introduce yourself. I feel like nowadays a lot of people, because of social media, a lot of people show interest, through like Instagram DM, and sometimes it takes a little more
Yeah.
than a DM to get it done. Like, you have to show interest, come in here,
Yeah.
like, come see what it's really about, come meet the local artists that you look
Exactly.
up to. You know, you see somebody doing a sell that you want to do, have them come up, come in here and really see what it's about and hang out.
Hmm.
Hang out, get to know the industry, and even see if it's something you'd want to pursue.
Yeah. I feel like now that you mentioned Instagram, I feel like a lot of people have become more shy, more antisocial, and they kind of rely a lot on social media to
Mhm.
be their main source of communication. I, for once, or for instance, I prefer phone calls
Yes,
over DMs.
yes,
It's
yes.
like DMs
Just
take up
call
so
me.
much of your time.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you just call me,
yeah.
well,
Or sometimes it can be overlooked so quickly. You're like, man,
yeah.
I get 10 DMs every hour. So it's
And
like
it's
it.
hard
Hmm.
to keep up, especially when you're creating stuff.
Exactly.
You're spending so much time off of
Hmm.
Instagram to create things to
Hmm.
post on Instagram.
Exactly. Like for
Um,
me, I feel everybody usually calls me on a Saturday. I'm like, Saturday's my busiest day.
yeah,
Like, why?
Saturday's the busiest
Yeah.
day.
So why? Yeah.
No, for sure. I tell my
Hmm.
clients, all my clients that have been tattooed by me and all that, they know. Just pull up and talk to me.
Yeah.
Just pull up and talk to me. It's so much
It's
quicker.
easier,
Catch me
quicker.
when I'm in the shop.
Hmm.
I work the same hours every week.
Yeah.
If you just stop in,
Hmm.
that'll cut the consultation
Yeah.
down so quickly to where it might take me a couple days to have a small conversation on Instagram. It'll take me 5 to 10 minutes up here in person.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm old school, so I
Yeah.
love the in person.
Yeah. Since you mentioned, kind of you kind of working the same schedule, I know that for a lot of like entrepreneurs and just like self-owned businesses, sometimes it's really hard to kind of be that or have that self-discipline
Hmm.
to kind of actually work the hours you're supposed to work. Has that ever
Yeah,
been a problem for you, or did you adapt to that like in a certain way? Or
I feel like growing up, with my family
Mhm.
owning their own businesses and like the tienda and the taqueria and stuff, I had to start working at such an early
Mhm.
age. I was 10 years old checking people out at
Yeah.
the taqueria. So I feel like growing up in that type of environment, for us, it was 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Tattooing and being able to get 2 days off was like, oh dang, like
Yeah.
I get 2 days off. Like,
Yeah.
this is kind of tight. Um, so I feel like with me, it kind of came
Hmm.
naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, sometimes being a photographer and having to go out and shoot, there's some days where I'm just like,
I
man,
don't
I'm
want to.
not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not
like,
feeling it. I don't want to
yeah,
edit.
how do you overcome? Because I assume we're not always going to have the best days of our lives. There's going to be
Yeah,
some days and when something personal happens or whatever happens, but you still got to come do your job. How do you overcome that? And does that has that happened to you before?
yeah.
Yeah.
All the time, man.
Hmm.
Especially in careers like ours, like
Yeah.
a photographer, a tattoo artist, a
Hmm.
hairstylist, a barber. We don't really have a boss telling us, "Hey, this is what you need to do.
Hmm.
This is where you're lacking. This is where you need to grow." So we need to be that person.
Hmm.
And then sometimes I feel like self motivating
Yeah.
is the hardest part.
It
Sometimes you
really is.
fall in just kind of like a funk,
Yeah.
Sometimes you fall in a funk and you got to pick yourself up and,
Yeah.
really, really be your number one supporter and motivator and all that. I like to think back. Uh, I like to think back at why I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
why I wanted to do this, where I started. I started tattooing out the back of my parents' taqueria.
Yeah.
You know, my parents had a taqueria, and
Heck
you
yeah.
know, I'd work there from 9 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night. Get off work, clean the shop, and then I was doing it the wrong way. I was doing it the legal way, the wrong way. But man, I wanted it,
Yeah.
and you know, I was in there, and you know, I was practicing on family members.
Yeah.
You know, I'm lucky to have a
People who
big
are, yeah.
support system and a lot of homies that believed in me and
Yeah.
trusted in me and wanted to be my first, you know, artist or my first tattoos and helped me get in there. That I think of those days when I was hungry, when this was all I wanted,
Yeah.
you know, when nothing else, you know, nothing else mattered and this is what I was going for. And, you know, they say, you know, they say you can't cry about having too much on your plate when your goal was to eat.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wanted this bad.
Yeah.
And I try to remind myself of how bad I wanted this and how fortunate I am to do what I love. Um, and that, and then my music, man.
Yeah.
You know, that my music. If I'm ever feeling down, it's just like cleaning the house. If I'm ever feeling down, I just on some cumbias y me da ganas.
For
Some
sure, man.
cumbias y el ánimo, let's get it.
I'm sure.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. For me, it's usually, you know, being like a wedding photographer. You know, sometimes I'd argue with like one of my ex girlfriends or whatever, and then I get to the wedding, and then mariachi empieza, and I'm like, oh my god,
Oh man,
these songs are
yes
hit,
I
man.
know.
Yeah,
Yes I
and it's
know.
constantly that. But you know, like you said, you know, you got to kind of focus on what you're there for.
Yeah.
You know, your craft.
Yeah, and what you're
Yeah,
doing, and
and the things you can control more.
yeah,
Definitely.
the things you can control, and you know, I'm not the best artist.
Yeah.
I'm not naturally talented. There's a lot of people that are naturally talented. I'm not naturally talented.
Yeah.
Salud. Salud to not being naturally
Yeah.
talented, man.
We got, yeah, it's like one of those
Um, I'm not. I had to work a lot for this. I started drawing and taking it seriously at 7 years old. And, you know, I had to work real hard to get here and, you know, be able to do what I love that, you know, I'm really grateful. And I try to give my client every day the best tattoo that I can do because I feel like I owe it to them. I love providing a service for people. They're trusting me.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people come up here and, you know, they're trusting me to alter their body in a way permanently for life. So I try to approach it in, you know, how would I want my tattoo artist to approach my tattoo? I would want them to be excited. I would want them to give it their all and really be pumped up and be excited to do this tattoo for me. So, you know, I try to, you know, really give my clients, you know, the same love that they give me. I feel like that's really important.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, that was actually my last point. Kind of what you were going to, you know, provide for your clientele, and you answered before I could even answer
Yeah.
it. So to wrap things up, I think you know we'll just take another shot
Yeah.
and call it a day. This is from Jalisco,
Yeah.
where Jesse's from. I think I poured you a little bit too much, but hey,
Hey, it's fine.
salud.
Salud.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.